apologize for making you witness that.
You mean hearing the origins of the Renans?
Indeed. It's shocking to have so many things I thought to be indelible fade away in mere seconds.
Even I'm still not sure everything we've heard here is actually true.
Let's not delude ourselves. If what we've heard is a lie, it's a rather elaborate one. I can only imagine that you must have been constantly feeling like this, ever since your memory returned, Alphen. And you as well, Shion. About your thorns, and being a maiden.
That's just part of being alive, don't you think?
Well, to say the least. But enough about me. I'm not concerned for myself. What concerns me is all of the other Renans out there.
When you say the other Renans, you mean the ones that are living on Lenegis or Dana, right?
Correct. Even if we stop the Great Spirit from annihilating Dana, our problems will still remain. Putting aside the untold state that Rena may be in, if we do not truly belong there, we will have to think long and hard about where it is that we wish to return to.
So, I guess your only real choices at this point are to either stay on Lenegis or come down to Dana, huh? And right now, Lenegis might not even be a safe option.
And at the same time, Danans are hardly likely to embrace Renans with open arms. If the issue is forced, things could turn dire. There is, after all, 3 centuries worth of hatred to overcome between us. And the victims of our rule have absolutely every right to feel animosity towards us Renans. Our own circumstances as the aggressors are irrelevant.
I didn't expect the former Lord of Menancia to be so down about people reconciling.
Menancia's fate was a stroke of good luck. There had been backlash over how it had been ruled, and I was blessed to have sympathizers among my ranks. Still, even now, there remain ardent dissidents.
But things can still change if you have the right people to help lead the way. Isn't that what you hope to achieve on Lenegis, after this is all over?
Indeed. I have fully accepted the burden of that responsibility. In that regard, I remain determined. On that note, I have something of a favor to ask of you, Alphen.
Oh? What is it?
I wish for you to serve as a mediator so that the Renans can live on Dana peaceably. As the one and only blazing sword, I suspect the Danans may listen to what you have to say when problems arise.
And I take it that you'll be the one to
However, the fact of the matter is that it will take time for Renans to re-enter Danan society without any bloodshed. That is why...
You're the same as ever, Dohalim.
Is it too much?
No, relax. You get so tense and formal when you're asking for a favor. Listen, there's no need for that. We're friends.
You're too kind. I can see you were raised well.
That's some high praise, Alphen.
Then I'll ask once again, this time just as friends. Alphen, will you help me?
You don't even need to ask. Of course I will.
Thank you, my friend.
I still can't believe it, man.
You're not the only one still trying to make sense of all this. Believe me.
Really? You've never struck me as the type of guy to get hung up on these sorts of things.
Did you forget what happened back in Thistleum? Once my memories started coming back to me, I felt completely and totally lost.
It was really that bad for you?
Yeah, it was. But thanks to Law and everybody else, I remembered that I still had things out there worth fighting for.
Man, I think you might be a better guy than me, Alphen. All I can remember thinking was, when's this guy gonna get his act together?
Law.
I was too worried about repeating the same mistakes I'd made back with my dad, and running away from the truth. That was no way to live, and I've tried to stay strong, my way. But all this talk about other races and the world ending, if I can be honest with you guys, it's just all too much for me to handle right now.
I know this is going to sound strange coming from me, but maybe the key is not to worry too much about the big stuff right now.
Oh?
I used to worry all the time about my thorns, for obvious reasons, but I never really opened up to anyone about them. And when I realized my visions pointed to a threat that was bigger than me, I didn't know what I should do or who to tell. But that's when I finally got it. You guys were all there for me, to teach me what's really important. I just had to open up and listen.
In other words, if you let the big picture stuff get you all muddled up inside, you'll begin to lose sight of what you really care about. Yeah, I think you're right.
The thing that's most important, what I really care about. All I want to do is protect the people that really matter to me, to fight for them. That's good enough, right?
Not everyone is strong enough to fight.
Huh?
It's something your dad told me once when he was still alive. Law, you know you're strong enough to fight, and you're strong enough to protect the people you care about. Forget all the big stuff going on. Just don't lose sight of what you want to protect in the first place. Sound good?
Yeah, I think it does. It's like a big weight's been lifted off my shoulders. I'll fight to protect the people around me. Just like I always have. I think that's best.
Well, it sounds like everyone's learning from their past and using it to create a better future for everyone.
What about you, Shion? How do you feel about the origin of the Renans?
To be honest, I'm not really all that shocked, actually. I mean, I might be a Renan in the literal sense, but I've never really felt like one of them. Right now, it's kind of a mystery.
How do you mean?
Because for a really, really long time, all I ever thought about was how I was going to die. Not if or when, but how. I thought I'd die alone. That fate had me in its steely grip. I would have never imagined that I'd be traveling with someone like you, fighting to save Rena and Dana. I mean, how could I have? It's been going on for 300 years. All this tragedy and destruction. When you consider the Helganquil's part in all this, it's been even longer than that. It was Naori's hope that somehow, someone in the future would be able to stop it, before it was too late. How it fell on us, of all people, to heed that call, is a mystery.
I don't think Naori was hoping that we would just stop the world from getting destroyed. She considered me, a Danan, as a real person. And she very much cherished her own people, too. I don't think she wanted the world to be saved, just so they could go back to hurting each other. Oh, maybe this is what she meant.
Huh?
When we were talking to Kisara earlier, about all that stuff like everyone's needing to meet halfway and embrace each other's pain and suffering. She said that the first step down that path was for each of us to put aside our own hatred. That means forgiving other people, even and especially before they forgive you.
Forgiving. So it goes both ways, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I don't just mean forgiving things that happened in the past either. Conflicts will keep happening. If we have any hope of moving on and building a better future, we have to all learn to forgive each other.
You know, you're right. People can hurt one another without even meaning to. I know that better than most, thanks to these thorns.
It's not going to be easy getting past this pain. But if we can do it, I'm sure there'll come a time when we can all truly understand each other. I'm there with you, Shion. I too want to protect the world we live in, and all the people we care about. I think that's the very least I can do to repay Naori for everything that she did.
Yeah. I want a future that she would feel proud to live in, and I'm going to fight for it.
Whoa there, Savior Girl. We're here to save you too, you know.
Yes, I know. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten. I want to live, and that's the honest truth.
Well, is everybody ready to do what needs to be done?
I am. There's a lot to think about, but at the end of the day, Dan is still in danger. I don't care who we're up against. We'll kick their ass.
What are your thoughts, Alphen? I want to know what's on your mind, too.
Like Law said, if we have to fight the Great Spirit on Rena, then so be it. It's trying to rob us of our entire world. And it's going to take not just our home, but all of existence along with it. That alone is enough to make it our enemy. But it's not only that. One way or another, I think beating the Great Spirit is going to be tied to us saving Xion.
You're saying there's a chance?
You're referring to the vision of destruction we all saw in Lenegis, I take it?
Yeah. 3 centuries ago, the astral energy that appeared at the spirit channeling ceremony showed Naori that vision. And to hear Xion tell it, it's the same one that she sees from her own thorns as well.
Indeed. Xion's thorns are comprised of dark astral energy, the one type which we know is native only to Rena. And if Rena's great spirit is what's behind Dana's pending destruction, then...
Xion's thorns are the Great Spirit? It's not actually on Rena like we thought?
We don't know anything for certain. At the very least, though, I think it's possible her thorns are a part of the Great Spirit.
While the main body resides in Rena.
Xion.
If these thorns really are a part of Rena's great spirit, I'm going to go over there and give it a piece of my mind and then some.
The question is, how do we confront it? Suffice it to say, that flower growing out of Rena is enormous, large enough to house the will of an entire planet. The Wedge and Lenegis were both hard enough for us to overcome in their own right. This is an altogether greater challenge for merely 6.
And we only know about the Thorns connection thanks to Naori.
Hevric 35 has been observing the Great Astral Spirit this whole time. It wouldn't ask us to fight it unless it has a plan of some sort. Let's go see what that is. Our minds are made up. Let's go give Hevric 35 our answer.
Do you have your answer for me?
We want to ask something first. You're asking us to fight an entire planet. How exactly do you expect us to do that? You must have something up your sleeve, or else you wouldn't put us up to it.
The great astral spirit is an immense being, but its actual will does not run throughout its entire body. Rather, its will is derived from the core, which supports the rest of the body, and is where its strength is most densely concentrated. Therefore, if you destroy the core, the Great Spirit shall become unable to maintain sentience, and return to being ordinary astral energy.
And how are we supposed to destroy that core?
By using the Renus Alma. You will also need the assistance of both the Sovereign and the Maiden. They are our best tools for suppressing and controlling astral energy. Using their powers, the Maiden shall seal the great astral spirit within her body, and the Sovereign shall wield the power of the Renus Alma to destroy it.
Hold on. That sounds a lot like what Xion described before.
Yeah, killing herself to take out the thorns with her.
She was actually right all along.
By my calculations, your powers combined should be sufficient to destroy the great astral spirit, and disperse its energy widely enough to make it difficult to reform.
What will happen to the Maiden once we manage to beat the great astral spirit?
Any matter contained within the field of destruction shall be erased.
So it really will kill me.
This method is the most simple one available to destroy the Great Spirit, and is therefore our most reliable option.
What are our other options?
There is little reason to consider alternative courses of action when the most optimal among them is so clear.
You don't get it. I promised Xion that she wouldn't die, that we'd save the world without needing to sacrifice her. We didn't fight this whole time just to give up on her at the very end. If there's any other way to take out the Great Spirit, I want to hear it.
This plan shall lead to the fewest losses in preserving your world. Abandoning it is irrational.
That's...
It is vital that you proceed with this plan. A part of Rena's great astral spirit already resides within her. 300 years ago, the Great Spirit descended upon Lenegis in an attempt to assume direct control of the spirit channeling ceremony. We have reason to believe the Great Spirit left part of itself behind, and that it now resides in the Maiden.
Which would make Alphen's earlier hypothesis correct.
That part inside the Maiden belongs to the core, and can be used by the great astral spirit to revive itself. So long as it remains, it will be all but impossible to fully eradicate the Great Spirit. That is why it is necessary for it to be vanquished only once it is whole. Without the Maiden's direct control over the Great Spirit, attacking it is futile, and will only serve to strengthen it.
No.
Wait. Naori said that the Renus Alma can suppress the self-realization of astral energy, and that the thorns can be neutralized by placing them in it. If so, can't the same also be done to the Great Spirit, seeing as the thorns are simply part of it?
Well, can it?
It is true that the Renus Alma is capable of what you suggest, and could contain the great astral spirit.
Yes!
However, doing so requires fine control on the level of the spirit channeling ceremony, considering that the Renus Alma was previously lost when that ceremony failed. I cannot allow it. Its uncertainty is simply too great.
What does that mean for us if you won't allow it?
Your starship will not be restored, and you will all be unable to leave here.
Why you?
Fine then. I'd rather stay here and rot than do it your way.
Alphen?
Whatever we do, if we mess up, Dana's screwed. The Great Spirit will destroy it. If you're fine letting that happen, and we have nothing to gain either way, then I'd rather do nothing. We want to stop Dana from getting destroyed. We want to save it. But not if it means having to sacrifice one of us in the process. If all you're gonna do is sit back and watch us where it's safe, then quit ordering us around and shut up!
Alphen.
What you say is irrational. Be that as it may, I shall accede to your demand.
You'll agree?
I am an observer. The Sovereign, Maiden, and Renus Alma are my species' greatest achievement. I wish to see how well they work against the Great Spirit in light of our demise by its hands.
But what are we supposed to do about the Renus Alma? One of your buddies ran off with it back on Lenegis.
It is likely that the Renus Alma is with the Great Spirit, functioning as a catalyst for it to receive Dana's astral energy.
So our only option to retrieve it is to head straight for the Great Spirit and take it back?
According to my observations, the astral energy is most densely concentrated in the center of Rena, where the Great Spirit's core is located.
So right in the middle of that giant flower, then.
I have one more question. You've said that Rena's great astral spirit is already integrated with the planet. What will happen to Rena once it vanishes?
Without the will of the Great Spirit, Rena is predicted to collapse. Even in such a scenario, the energy will disperse, and the Great Spirit will likely not reform.
So you're saying that even if we manage to beat the Great Spirit without destroying it, we'll still be in danger?
Likely, the collapse will occur in stages. It is recommended that you all escape before the final stage.
Man, I wish that thing would tell it to us straight for once.
Hevrek 35 and the others have gotten used to hypothesizing from afar is all. Fix our starship. We're going to Rena.
Excellent.
But I want to make one thing clear. We're doing this for ourselves, to protect what matters to us. We're not doing it for your sake, or because you told us to. Remember that.
It matters little to me. The end result shall be the same. Repair work on your starship has commenced. You'll have to wait until it's finished.
Man, is it too much to ask for Hevrek 35 to talk like a normal person? I swear I can feel my brain starting to fry after listening to all that complicated stuff.
Don't worry. I think we're mostly done with him.
You still thinking about what the scientists told us? About where Renans really come from?
I am, but not for myself.
You're worried about the future of the Renan people.
The fact that our people have been the same this whole time will only give the Danans further reason to resent us.
But you still intend to confront this truth head-on, don't you?
Well, I did declare that I would live my life for the living, and not the dead. Even as I dream of retirement, I shall remain dedicated to the cause.
I'm sure you'll do great.
Now that I think about it, I don't believe I've ever heard you criticize or reproach us Renans even once.
I'm no saint. I have skeletons in my closet too. There was definitely a time when I hated Renans for who they were. I hated them just for being Renan. But you changed that, Dohalim. You gave me an opportunity to see them in a different light. Thanks to your reforms, we were able to stand next to Renans not as slaves, but as equals for the first time in our lives. Of course, I'm sure there were some Renans who still hated us on the inside. But we knew that not all of you were like that. There were those of you who were good, and that was a start. When it comes down to it, Renans are just people. They can be good or bad, just like Danans.
That is, in essence, the heart of your approach, isn't it? That we're all people.
Yeah, it is. When you can pull someone aside and talk to them one-on-one, then you have the chance to come to an understanding. But as soon as you stereotype, that chance goes away, and you stop thinking of them as people that you can relate to.
I understand what you're saying. But we're talking about massive numbers of Renans and Danans alike. Realistically speaking, surely they won't all be able to get along.
Even if we end up butting heads with one person, maybe we'll find better luck among their friends. If we can build a society that works like that, that'll be something worth nurturing and protecting.
So you wish for people to form real bonds and do away with the hierarchy outright? To deal with one another as humans, and nothing more? That's the ideal future you hope to see when this is all over?
Yes, I do. I think it would make for a fine tribute to my brother's legacy. Though, that said, I would be doing it for the people of the future first and foremost. Do you still plan to return to Lenegis when this is over?
Indeed I do. I don't know whether I'll be able to reside in Lenegis proper, however. My first order of business may be to find somewhere to live.
You'll always have a home in Menancia, you know.
As I shall ever keep in mind.
Well, if you ever need a helping hand, don't hesitate to come get me. I'll always be there for you, Doe.
Did you just... Never mind. Thank you, Kisara. I appreciate your patience as I work all this out.
Don't even mention it. And really, when you think about it, now that we know the two of us aren't so different after all, don't you think that brings down a barrier that used to be between us?
You know, I hadn't actually thought of it that way before. But I do like the sound of it.
Yeah, I think I do too.
Hey, why'd you call me here? Was there something you wanted to talk about?
Well, if everything we've heard about the Great Spirit is true, then we're getting close to our final battle. So I wanted to apologize while I can.
Apologize? For what?
I was being real stupid before, about whether Dana's will had been controlling us and all that. I get why you're angry now. Anybody would be if something they trusted was being questioned. So, I'm sorry, Rinwell. Really. I should have kept my mouth shut.
No, Law. Honestly, I think you might have been onto something. Of course you were worried. Who wouldn't be if they found out there might be some invisible force pulling our strings this whole time?
But you really trust Dana's will, don't you? Is it because you can sense it a lot more than the rest of us? Because you can understand it?
Yeah, I think that might be part of it. But I think I also want to believe it's good.
Believe?
Remember how I used to really resent coming from a family of mages?
Yeah, of course. Because you were always on the run and had to live in hiding.
When we rescued Zephyr and I finally decided to come along with you all, something changed inside me. It was the first time I felt like my powers had any meaning, even if that meaning was only helping you guys fight. Then, when I felt Dana's will, I was overwhelmed by how vast and warm it was. It made me want to believe my powers were made to connect with it. It made me believe I had a bigger purpose.
So that's why you hope it doesn't turn out to be bad. You almost need it to be kind.
Yeah.
Well, alright. Then I promise I'll lay off bad-mouthing it.
You will?
There's no way for me to know for sure one way or the other, right? But you trust it, Rinwell, and that's enough for me. So I'll trust it because you do.
Remember what I said about neither planet's great spirit reaching us here?
Yeah?
That's not quite true. I can feel just a little bit of Rena's inside you and everyone else.
You... what?
I sensed it when we first got here. It's a really small amount, so it doesn't feel like it has a will of its own. But I think that's how Dana's energy probably is too.
So you're saying there's a little bit of Dana's will inside each of us? In a way, doesn't that mean we're all Dana's will?
What?
Well, like you said, unless Dana's energy comes together, it has no will. So if we all have a little bit of Dana's astral energy inside us...
Yeah, maybe...
Hefric 35 might know the answer. But, you know what? I don't need to ask it. My will is my own. I fight for who I want to fight for. That's who I am now. Who I've become. So thanks, Rinwell, for sharing that with me. To be honest, the only reason I was suspicious of Dana's will, well, I mean, it mostly was... I feel like you and I had grown apart lately, and I was worried it was because...
Huh?
Never mind. Nothing. Just forget about it.
Huh? No, what were you saying?
Saying? I don't remember
Come
saying
on.
anything.
Now you won't tell me what you were thinking?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Then spit it out already.
You sure you don't want to get some rest?
I can't. I've got too much on my mind. Especially knowing how close our last battle is. How are you doing, Shion?
Same as you, still trying to absorb everything.
Remember when it was so simple? We were only fighting all the lords on Dana? All of that feels like a lifetime ago, doesn't it?
Ages and ages ago. Everything that's happened since we first met. So many fights, so much chaos, so many wonderful people.
If I hadn't run into you that day, well, I wouldn't have met all of you. I never would have held the blazing sword or looked for something more. I wouldn't have my memories back. I'd still be a faceless slave, like as not long dead.
Hey, Alphen. I want you to promise me something.
Yeah?
If we can't find the Renis Alma, there's something I want you to do. Like Hevrecht 35 said, the only way we can end the Great Spirit for good is to go after both the main body in Rena and the thorns in me. I need you to promise me, Alphen, that if for some reason we can't get the Renis Alma back, you'll use the blazing sword to destroy the Great Spirit, and me along with it.
Huh?
It's true the blazing sword may not have the strength of the Renis Alma. But it's taken us this far. It's slain lords and beasts. At the very least, it has to be worth a try.
You can't be serious. Have you forgotten everything
Listen,
that we...
the Great Spirit isn't just our problem. It's a threat to our entire world. Renans and Danans alike. We don't know what's going to happen when we face it, but we need to be prepared for anything. We can't second-guess ourselves when the time comes. I promise you, I'm not planning on going anywhere. I'm prepared to fight with absolutely everything I've got. But if it comes down to it, I need you to be prepared too.
Okay, But you should know that I'm not going to give up on you, Shion. I'm going to fight this until the very end. I hope you can forgive me for that.
Alphen. Okay, I understand. And I'll forgive you.
Thank you, Shion.
So it's a promise then?
Yeah, it's a promise.
I remember how I felt the first time you touched me. My thorns made any contact a mistake no one would ever make twice. After they'd seen what could happen, fear would always linger behind their eyes. In my entire life, I never had someone willingly reach out to me. But when you reached out to me and gently took my hand, you didn't react at all. It was so easy for you. I don't have words for the shock I felt in that moment.
That's because I couldn't feel pain back then.
Even once you could, though, you still chose to keep reaching out to me. And when you did, I felt this warmth that I had never known before. But still, I hate having to see you suffer through it every time you do.
You won't have to worry about that for much longer.
You think so?
I do, because Shion,
No. You can tell me once my thorns are gone. Okay?
Yeah. Okay. Everybody get enough rest? We ready for this?
Yeah, we should probably get moving.
Agreed. Can't stand around waiting all day.
Our task is relatively straightforward. We need only descend down to Rena, defeat the Great Spirit, and restore stability to both worlds.
We're fighting for a new future for both Dana and Rena.
Right. We've come this far. We will save our worlds. That's a promise.
Then let's go, everybody. We've got one last wall to tear down.
Repairs on your starship are complete. Everything is in working order.
Is that you, Hevrek 35?
I can see anywhere within the bounds of Dake Faisal.
Ich hab mal wieder angemacht, mal gucken, ob es funktioniert.
Maybe we should give Hevrek 35 a break. It has been stuck in this tiny facility for a very, very long time.
I have unlocked all functions on your starship. You can now make use of its warp drive.
Warp drive? Wait, you mean like what the Red Women used on us? What brought us here?
Was geht denn bei dem
It's
schief?
possible that the Red Women may have found a way to activate it on the starship. They are Helganquil after all.
Using the warp drive, you should be
Ja,
without being detected.
Wait, should?
You'll need to be careful. Due to the force field surrounding Rena, the ship will be unable to go any further than the surface of the planet.
So, once we reach the shell, it appears we'll have to infiltrate the core by foot. Understood.
We gotta go all the way down just walking?
Will all the Helganquil go back to normal once we defeat the Great Spirit? I have a strange feeling we're going to have to fight them before this is all over.
The extinction of my people is inevitable at this stage. As such, it would be illogical to risk the success of the mission in a vain attempt to save my kind.
We understand.
Can't that thing lighten up a bit? Everything it says seems to be about what's illogical.
Well, come on, Doe.
Hold up, did you just...
You heard the lady. Get going.
I have one last question.
What?
As Sovereign, your identification number indicates that you are well past your predicted life expectancy. Similarly, the Maiden lacks any identification number, as her function should have been rendered unnecessary. Despite this, the two of you continue to exist. Why?
We exist because others have entrusted this to us. Over the years, many people have come together and sworn to see this through to the end.
You mean it is because of multiple chance interactions? The likelihood of such events is statistically improbable. Why have you two continued to persist under these conditions?
It's hard to explain. To be honest, I don't think it's something an observer could understand. All right, time to get back on the Fall Knights.
It would appear that our Helganquil host really has fulfilled its end of the bargain.
You know what that means. Time to go to Rena.
I guess this means we should give that warp drive a spin.
There's nothing here. This weird ocean we're surrounded by just stretches out everywhere. Is this really where the Helganquil come from?
I don't sense even a trace of astral energy. This world is dead.
Then this must be the Hollowing.
You mean to tell me this whole world, the entire ocean is... that stuff?
And it's covering everything. The entire planet.
This is what the Great Spirit does. After it depleted this planet of every last speck of astral energy, it went after Dana.
So arresting. This world of doom.
Back in its day, Rena was probably just as vibrant as Dana is. But after being robbed of its astral energy for so long, those days are gone and past. This is all that will remain.
So the Great Spirit took everything. It stole energy not just from living beings, but the land, the sea, everything.
And it bound the Helganquil in servitude, until their whole world was nothing but this. And by the looks of it, that's how it remains to this day. A world of death and emptiness.
With nothing left here to consume, the Great Spirit turned its sights on Dana, looking for another host.
You're saying if we don't stop it, this is what Dana's going to look like?
We can be sure that even these few remaining remnants of Renan life will not be spared in the end.
If the oblivion and darkness both Shion and Naori saw comes to pass, nothing will survive. It looks like we can climb down from there. Let's take a look.
So this is Rena. This is where everything began. Yet it's a dead world?
I won't let Dana suffer the same fate. Ever. Looks like we've warped into that pit of astral energy.
Ganquil.
Guess they don't need their Red Woman disguises anymore.
Wait, can you understand us?
It's no use. We're not going to get through to them.
So they really are being controlled. In that case, we've got no choice.
I knew there was something off here!
They're not pulling punches. We have no choice but to beat them at their own game.
Holy Land!
Here, let me help.
Victory is within reach.
Dig deep, and we can do this!
Impressive fervor, little one.
Water, hear my call! Ready and ready! Here's evil! Freeze Lancer!
Your blade moves like silk. I just let my instincts take over.
It exploded?
Don't get caught in the blast! Do it! Dance in the wind!
Take this! Dragon form!
I'm grateful. Why'd you do that?
To stop you dying?
Right.
Blow away!
Alphen.
I can't forgive them for what they've done, but I hate killing them. They don't even know why they're fighting. How does that even make them any different from the Danan slaves?
Perhaps. However, if we don't make a choice, the guilt of not doing anything will be that much worse.
Yeah, I know. I hate for it to be like this. But if it happens again, you won't find me hesitating to act.
I wonder if we're going to get attacked again.
If we lose heart now, this whole mission is over. We have to stay the course.
Is this a dead end?
It appears this whole room functions as an elevator. That apparatus there is likely what's used to control it.
What the? Where did they come from?
Less worry, more action. Concentrate. These things really get on my nerves.
This is bad, right?
Yeah, very bad.
More sequels?
Keep calm and take them down.
I'm ready!
Not much longer to go.
Come on, one final push.
Let's do this together, Alfred.
You're mine! You're on! Take it! Not done! Try this! Rending flash! Not a chance! Resonate with you! You're finished! You're on! My turn! It's over! You're on! More! It's over! Dragon Form! Here I come! Take this!
Mentoneg's meal is on you.
Keep going. To make. Not him! This one's all mine! Burn! More! You're mine! You're finished! You're on! Try this! I'm ready!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
There you go, Alfred!
It's time to end this battle!
I'm right beside you! I owe you, Sion. Healing is what my arts do best. All mine can do is cause havoc. As impressive as always. Magic is there! No, I mean, you're even better than ever. Astral energy!
Say no more! Now! No escape! You're on! Try this!
Resonate with the earth!
Infernal torrent!
There is logic within your every move.
It'll take more than brute force to win.
I'll try to survive it.
I can't imagine what we'd do without you, Rinwell. Who, me? That's a little much, don't you think? I'm serious. You're a lifesaver.
Be let free!
I never miss!
Rising mine!
Now!
Show me! In an instant! Impact block!
To achieve such harmony,
Takes a singular will.
even in such a harsh environment as this, there are still creatures here?
You think they're native to Rena? Or could they be Zeugles somehow?
Whatever they are, they're dangerous. Watch yourselves around them. You think that pit stretches all the way to Rena's core?
If that's true, and if we go down, we should find the Great Spirit at the bottom.
We could get there even faster if we simply jump down instead.
You sound alarmingly serious when you say that.
Guess I misread the landing. These structures don't look like anything built by the Renans. Look at what we saw in the Forbidden Zone.
Perhaps this is the true architectural style of the Helgankro. Or perhaps the opposite, given their situation. Discourteous, aren't you? I shall ensure you survive this!
It's over! Dragon Form! I'm ready! Totally! In an instant! Impact block! We work well together.
Like a finely timed clock.
Now! Astral energy!
Say no more! That astral energy was incredible!
I gave it everything I had.
Those thorns.
I'm not letting them get in our way!
I found... some equipment.
Let me take a look at it.
Coming through!
Dragon Swarm! Burn in hell!
I don't mind if I do.
Can't get out of this!
Mega Red!
Swallow Blade!
Lightning
It can
Abrasive!
hide itself? Amazing!
Require complete focus!
Explosive Ring!
Render! Burn
I
down!
don't know what I'd do without you.
Perhaps now isn't the time?
I really don't.
Heal you all!
A charge like that could easily be fatal.
Just as well, I'm here to stop it.
Annihilation!
Dragon Swarm! Try that!
The shield from calamity.
Now!
Explosive!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
Remember to tell me if you need healing.
I expect you'll be in high demand. If that's the case. An opponent like this should be easier. Debut performance.
Photon healing crystal!
Try harder! The flame inside me yearns to be let free. I'll take you all on. Dragon Swarm! Do it! Totally! In an instant! Impact block! We work well together.
Finally timed one.
Flawless flight! Freeze!
What?
Is that a new skill I saw back there?
Indeed. Well, sort of. Actually, it's a family staple harkening back 8 generations.
Maybe you can just write all this down?
We should think about eating soon.
Really?
This might be some decent equipment.
Anything that makes battles easier is okay by me.
No choice. Dragon Swarm! Burn! Dragon Swarm! Try this!
A new lease on life!
I owe you, Tion.
Healing is what my arts do best.
All mine can do is cause havoc and destruction.
Dragon Swarm!
Magic is back! In here!
I'm going to use all the power of my healing art.
the soil. Awaken and recapture.
No escape. More with that. Astral energy.
Say no more.
Remember to tell me if you need healing.
I expect you'll be in high demand if that's the case.
We seem to have come across something a little unusual.
I owe you.
Spirits within the soil.
Now.
A spot of feet. Anyone? On your
Here's the healing art.
Demon Fang! Can't get out of this! Thanks!
All disasters made one. Come forth and heal. Water, hear my call.
Dragon Swarm!
Glacial spear. There you go. Don't let up.
You're mine!
We natural energy. Water, heal in the wind. Air thrust. Burning strike. Here's the evil.
Flame inside me, yours to be let free! Dragon Swarm!
Here's the magic is them. Lunar corruption.
In a bind? I couldn't make it in time.
Lightning. Downfall.
From beyond,
More with
imbue
that
this
deep
banquet.
water. Here's magic is them. Holy land. Do it.
Not done!
This ends now.
Consider yourself finished! They've really got us on the ropes.
Don't forget to heal your wounds.
Way.
Dragon Swarm! Try this! I could do without this.
In here, careful! It has some kind of camouflage! Magic
Try harder! Take this!
Free flame! Lunar corruption! Do it!
Healing art?
Astral energy!
Say no more! Got it!
Well done!
Now! Take this!
Here I go! Here goes! You're mine!
Here I come! I'm not done!
Debut performance!
Lightning!
killing me. I'm merely doing what I can to help.
Glad you're on our side, Dohalim.
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Raging
The
storm!
flame inside me yearns to be let free! On your mind!
One more!
Dragon Swarm! Air pressure! No! Can't end here!
Don't give up! What would I do without you?
No further!
I'll bring you back from death's abyss! Far enough! Dance in the wind!
What I can do? I'll grind you into dust!
I'll bring you back from death's abyss! If it's in the sky, it's mine!
Do it!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
That was a little close for... comfort.
What do you think this place was for? Ah!
What the hell? Are they asleep?
No. They appear to be well preserved. However, they are all dead.
Dead? So this is a mass grave?
Looks that way. However, none of them appear to be Helganquil.
Bear in mind that Renans were originally Danans, who were remade and sent to live on Lenegus. Knowing that, they would have needed a place to perform the procedure somewhere.
And that place is here, I assume.
So what you're saying is that all of these are Danan, or rather, Renan bodies?
Most likely, yes. It must have been abandoned for one reason or another.
There are so many of them. They were all taken away, but never given the chance to wake.
What is that thing?
Something we have to fight if we want to get across, it seems.
Be careful! It's huge!
What is with all of you slumbering beasts lately?
No ordinary zoo. That much is damn sure.
Watch yourself. All bets are off when it comes to this thing.
Here goes! Whoa! Freeze! That'll bring you down!
Begin!
Feel!
You're on! Inferno Torrent! Take this! It's over! Dragon Swarm!
It looks like you got this one covered.
Its head is its weak point?
We'll need to bring it down somehow to hit it.
In that case, let's start with the one in the middle.
Ignite!
Confiscated!
No further! Take this!
Raging storm!
I'll smash you!
Here goes! Outstanding form!
I'm ready! Remote!
Astral energy!
Say no more! You're mine!
Radiant
At least
spear!
it's deity!
Thunder
You're
field!
finished!
Mega ray!
Take
Photon
this!
raging
Can you
cascade!
Take it! Take it!
Enough the flame inside me yearns to be let free! It's over! Rupture! Dragon swarm! Try harder! My turn! I'm not done!
Seal! Radiant Pierce! The enemy is going all out! Lunar corruption!
Burn in hell! No time!
Don't mind if I do!
Be still!
Is that a healing art?
It is. I can't ignore the pain.
I'll try to be more careful.
Take this! Struck!
I didn't think you had it in you.
Okay, there'll be time to congratulate me later.
Nothing much I can say to that.
A thrilling performance.
In here! Here I go!
Sorry, I didn't want to put you out.
What are friends for? We can depend on one another.
You're right. I'll bear that in mind.
It's about to strike!
Look sharp, everyone! Rending you a bloody howl! I'm not done! On your knees! Dragon swarm! You're finished! Armor won't save you! Ignite! Let me free you of your power! Try this!
Here goes! Blah, blah, blah,
I'm ready! Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
The hell was that thing?
Probably something that was made here and somehow managed to survive, even after all this time. Not that there's any way of knowing now.
What's wrong?
Oh, I just suddenly found myself contemplating what might have happened to the sovereigns that were meant to emerge from the crown contests.
What do you mean?
You see, the winners of the past crown contests were all strong astral arts practitioners. Furthermore, that enemy we just fought appeared to be composed of several human bodies. It was certainly nothing one would find in nature.
You're saying those were the remains of the winners? That they forgot who they once were?
I'm merely saying it's a possibility.
That's absolutely gruesome. How long had the Helganquil been at this?
It was Rena's great spirit that made them do all of this. Anything to get its astral energy.
We're not gonna jump down, right?
I certainly hope not.
After hearing Dohulum's suggestion, I'm honestly not sure what to say.
I assure you all, I was merely stating the possibility.
We're back in that other room? Did the teleporter fail or something?
Something feels off about it.
Look! Everything's upside down!
The furnishings are, at least. No, you're right. The whole room's flipped on its head.
So what was once down is now up, and vice versa. I suppose the teleporter reversed our orientation then.
I guess this is the flip side of that pathway we were walking on just a little while ago.
This is crazy. Who knew such amazing technology existed?
Everything's...
Take this! Dragon Form!
This is gonna need all of us together! Don't mind if I do! The flashing part's their weak point!
You're mine! Now, while it's reeling!
Take it down!
Dragon Form!
Lunar blast!
Anything in armor is all mine! Catapult! This one keeps charging us!
That's what my shield's for. Get behind me.
Got it! I'll leave it to you!
On the soil.
Awaken and recapture! I'll smash you! No escape this time! Dragon Form! It's over! Dragon Form!
Reload!
Explosive
I'm ready
ray!
to show you what my arts can do! Rise and shine! Wind astral energy! Astral energy!
Say no more.
Remember to tell me if you need healing.
I expect you'll be in high demand if that's the case.
What are those? They look like Shion's thorns, and with flowers too.
Not real ones, though. They're just like that flower growing out of Rena.
We must be getting close to the Great Spirit now.
Hey, Rinwell, what was that thing you said about how a little bit of Dana's Great Spirit is inside all of us?
Right. That's why Dana's Great Spirit is so much more diluted. Weak, even. Whether it was a choice so it didn't overpower others, or just the way it is anyone's guess.
If that's true, then wouldn't it mean Dana's will could never form under natural conditions?
Yeah, sounds like that's probably the case.
So if Dana exists within all of us, then what if something occurred that brought everyone's hearts and minds together as one? That unity could potentially act as Dana's will.
You mean if everybody was, like, thinking the exact same thing at the exact same time? Come on, there's no way we could pull that off.
I know it's a long shot, but it might work.
Let's assume that's even possible for a second. Would it even be enough to fight back against Rena's Great Spirit?
If nothing else, it might be an option if we can't use the Renasalma.
Things are different here than on the surface.
That shows how deeply we've ventured into Rena.
And how close we've come to the real enemy.
Let's see what you've got.
Firmament Breaker!
Burn in hell! Here I come!
There is logic within your warning you.
It'll take more than take them down, win!
I'll try to provide that strength.
You fight better at a distance. Further away the better. Sounds like you and I both.
Victory is within reach.
Dig deep, and we can do this!
Trust is fervent.
That's my cue! That'll bring you down!
Shut him down!
Don't mind if I do!
Here I go! I'm ready!
Commander of Heaven.
Phoenix Cyclone!
My turn!
Hear my call! Magic is there! Sleep now! Laser Spear! Here's the hero! They're surrounding
Dragon Form!
Blah, blah, blah!
Rending your bloody howl! On Razor! Take it! Dragon Form! Air pressure!
Sleep now!
Pierce through!
Do it!
Still!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
There you go, Alphen!
It's time to end this battle!
I'm right beside you!
I'm not done! Eat this! Nothing gets by me! Here I come! I'm not done!
In here!
Within the soil.
This one's mine! Rage cascade!
I'm not done!
One more time! Do it!
Still!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished! More?
Resonate with the
I'm not
earth.
done!
Still out,
Dragon
Mike.
Swarm! Try this! Rending you a bloody howling! Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade!
Lady Fortune must truly be watching over me.
The Zoogles here are putting up a real fight.
That just goes to show... how important this place is.
Or perhaps they simply thrived freely here under such harsh conditions.
I don't give a damn why they're here. We'll burn it all to...
The astral energy here is so dense. It's like trying to walk through water.
I know the Great Spirit's will is in the center of Rena, but with the world in this state, the entire planet has become its body, right? So doesn't that mean we're already inside it?
I would say that is horrifyingly correct. After all, the further we climb, the denser the astral energy becomes.
What's the matter, Rinwell? Are you not feeling all right?
No, it's nothing like that. It just feels like the energy here is a little more intense than it was before.
You mean Rena's energy?
Yeah. It's like when I made contact with Dana's will in the wedge. It's almost as though I can understand what Rena's will is thinking.
But Rena's will is supposed to be a lot stronger. Aren't we risking the Great Spirit controlling us if we interact with it directly?
I don't think we have to worry about that. Rena's will is only supposed to control true Renans, like the Helganquil. If we can discern what the Great Spirit is thinking too, we might learn something, a weakness. But just to be safe, let me contact it alone.
Are you insane? Rinwell, you're gonna...
Rinwell!
there was only meant to be one world. And your goal is to make them one. Is this fear? What just happened?
Are you all right? Rinwell? Rinwell, are you okay?
No, I'm fine. I think.
What were you thinking? You could have gotten yourself killed!
He's right. You had us all terrified, Rinwell.
I'm sorry. I really, really am. But I know now. I know how the Great Spirit thinks. I know what it wants. How it feels. Rena's Great Spirit wants to complete the world.
What's that supposed to mean? Are you saying it's trying to make something?
Yes, exactly. Originally, Dana and Rena were meant to be one world. But that never happened. They've stayed separated, and the Great Spirit wants to finish the process.
What do you mean, one world? How is that even possible?
I don't know, but its will is clear. That's what the Great Spirit is trying to accomplish. The only problem is that since Rena's energy isn't evenly spread like Dana's, it seems like it'll vanish before that happens naturally.
So it's trying to absorb Dana while it still can, so that it can force the two planets to unite. Is that what you're saying?
The Great Spirit is scared. But it's not scared the way a rational person would be. It's more raw and undiluted, like just pure fear.
Like an animal, acting out of instinct. Although admittedly, an animal would be easier to communicate with. At the very least, I have my doubts that it recognizes us as sentient beings with a reason for coming here. Earth, water, fire, and wind energy exist in both worlds, but only darkness and light can be found within Rena and Dana, respectively. The Renis Alma, as far as we know, the only host capable of harvesting the astral energy, is composed of all six. Knowing all that, Rinwell's findings do sound plausible.
That sounds a lot like Shion's thorns, doesn't it? The whole reason the Great Spirit is trying to unite Dana and Rena into one world is in order to save itself. And if her thorns are part of the Great Spirit, then they must also be trying to save themselves?
Alphen, what is it?
We thought the only way to free your thorns was for you to die. Yet despite that, they seem to be doing everything in their power to stop that from happening to you. Something wasn't adding up. But then I just realized something. If the Great Spirit doesn't want to die, then neither would your thorns. Those same emotions, that fear, that determination, and its energy must have been the same thing that was keeping you alive. You were its vessel.
In that case, is that why her thorns caused so much pain to anyone who touched her? Because they were trying to protect themselves?
If that's all true, then... well, it's more than a little ironic.
The Great Spirit merely expresses its desires. I imagine it was the Helganquil who were likely tasked with putting together and implementing an actual plan.
Shion.
I'm okay. We need to hurry and clean this mess up before it gets out of hand.
Still, even if the current state of the world is wrong like you said, does that really make everything okay?
If the world had been whole from the start, as it should have been, there'd be no Dana and no Rena, no masters or slaves, no lords, no crown contest, maybe just peace.
lost!
Dragon form! Explosive ring!
Those flying creatures are a real pain in the butt!
Go for the weak point!
Captivity!
Lightning corruption! Lightning shadow!
You're mine!
It's weakened!
It's over! This ends now! Dragon form!
Radiant, where are you going?
Not
Leave
today!
the enemy's arch to me!
You're mine! No complaints here!
Lightning
Dragon form!
Raging cascade! Feel!
Here I come! Dragon form!
Lightning orb! Glacial field! Here's evil!
Dragon form!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
This should make for some good weapon crafting material.
Wherever we go on this planet, there are machines littered everywhere.
It's impressive to look at as a bystander, but I sure wouldn't want to live here with all of this around.
I know what you mean. There are no fish here.
This will be a delicious piece of cake! Burning strike! Here's evil field! Freeze laser! Takes away!
Take this!
Here's a healing arc! Raging storm! Let's go!
Can you take it? Take
Glacial
this!
spear! Pierce evil!
Try it, my turn!
Firmament render!
Seismic rupture!
Here's a healing arc!
Carve through armor! This one's all mine! Let me free you of your power! Take this! Not today!
I'm sorry to trouble you.
Glacial spear! Pierce evil!
Catapult!
Freeze laser! Frozen rend! Here's a healing arc! First aid! Rage!
I'll stop its charge!
Thanks, Kisara! Glacial spear! Here's the evil! Sleep now!
You're finished!
I'll grind you into dust! I'm going to need
Now we're not...
Now! Astral energy!
Say no more. That astral energy was incredible.
I gave it everything I had.
Thanks, Sheila.
Be careful not to overdo it.
I'm sorry. Do better.
Take this!
In here! Here, let me help! Where are you going?
This one's all mine!
A charge like that could easily be
Not
fatal.
today!
Just as well, I'm here to stop you.
Dragon form! With the
Freezing storm!
I owe you one!
It's within the soul.
You're the healing arc!
Take this!
Demon Blade! Reload! Illuminate the storm! Magic is I'm out of ammo! Back into the fray!
I have no limits! Heal! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno! Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
Here's a healing arc!
You're mine!
Raging storm!
You're on! Infernal Turret! Dragon Form!
They're not playing around! Rage cascade!
Death from the wing!
Supernova! Blah, blah, blah,
Here I come! I'm not done! Heal!
Lunar corruption! By the power of
Dragon
God!
no further! Pierce through! Not today!
I'll be saving this one!
Benediction light.
This one's mine!
No escape!
Watch
Dragon
Heal
Form!
Banana, let's go! Dance in the wind! Get on now! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
Remember to tell me if you need healing.
Be a delicious piece of cake!
Stay calm. I shall provide assistance.
Explosive ring!
Here
I come! Dragon Form!
Victory is within reach.
dig deep, and we can do
I'm ready!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
There you go, Alvin! You're
it's time to
really,
end
really
this battle.
strong, Alvin!
I'm just trying to do the best I can.
Still, it's reassuring to have you around.
Well, looky here! Hi, Hoodle!
No escape! Think you try harder! Now! No escape! Rending blast!
Lunar corruption!
In a bind?
Lunar blast!
Take it! Strike!
Confiscated!
I'll face you.
Searing
Dragon
flame!
Form!
Wind astral energy! Let's go!
It's on!
Raging cascade! Feel! Let's go!
Burn in hell!
Annihilation! Lightning orb! A banana! Let's go!
I can carve through
Blah,
armor!
blah, blah!
I'm not done!
Lunar corruption! Holy
Dragon
red!
Form!
Will this help?
I'll stop its charge!
Thanks, Kisara! Healing
I'm ready! Kisara!
Commander of Heaven.
Phoenix Cyclone!
Great!
So those thorns of Shion's, they're really a part of Rena's great spirit?
Most likely. But only a small fragment of it in the big picture. I don't sense a will of its own emanating from them.
If it's that insignificant, is there that much point getting rid of it?
Careful. That's no or...
The sword-wielding Sugal?
And not just one, but four!
Thinks 2 extra hands is enough to beat me. It's sorely mistaken!
Let's just focus on what's important. That'll bring you down. By the power of water!
It's on! Burn in hell!
Lunar corruption! Hold on to your heart! Here I come!
Explosive ring!
Can't move.
Don't leave me!
Rotating what?
Resuscitate! Lightning orb! Here's a healing orb! Lightning
Elucidate.
descent!
You're
Holy
finished.
land! Lunar corruption dream!
Take this.
Close one!
Now you
What I can do!
addiction.
Element render!
Heal!
Free storm!
Dragon Form!
Ice tornado! Now, healing orb! Astral energy!
Say no more!
Here's a healing orb!
You're mine!
The wind! Feel!
Such unadulterated fury.
No escape! The
Here,
flame
this
inside
one's
me
mine.
yearns to be let free! You! Burn! It's time! Now it's my turn! Not a chance! Stop! Elusive deity! Take this!
Hit! Lightning to death!
Try harder! I'll
Resurrection!
smash you!
Thunderblade! Illusion! Magic
Oh
is
my
death!
God.
Hear me!
I'm not done! Dragon form!
Water! Hear
Take
my
this.
call!
Tempest!
There you go! No let out!
Not a chance!
Holy land!
Benediction light.
Got it! Now's our chance!
Take this!
Not in your dreams!
Rising up!
Denied! Water! Hear my call! Tempest!
One final push.
Let's finish this off!
I'll do my best not to disappoint.
My art can
Ignite!
Fly on sun! Dance in the wind!
It's over!
Resurrection!
Now you're left with anything in armor is all mine!
Glacial spear! Ow! Here's a healing arc!
I'm ready! Don't leave! In an instant! Impact block! You got rid of the thorn! Looks like I won it! After all!
Except it doesn't look like that thing's finished yet. Let them mark my launch charge. Thanks, Kisara.
Dragon form!
Hear me! Flame of fury!
Take this! It's over!
Leave the chargers to me!
Glacial spear! Where are you going?
Take this! Can't get out of this!
Ready!
Rising
I'm
Wyvern!
low.
I can carve through armor!
Firmament render!
Rage.
Elusive here I come!
No dawn shall break this
You're mine! It's on!
Behold! The earth pulse! Tectonic vision!
Double demon
Thunder
blast!
field!
Destruction! Remember!
Astral energy!
Say no more!
Here, let me
Here I
help.
come!
Raise
It's over!
Dragon
form!
Seal! Aqua! Annihilation! Here!
Benediction light. Benediction
I'm all
light.
stuck up!
Eater!
Watch yourself. This has incredible power.
Here goes! Here, let me help.
No dawn.
Try not
Now!
yet! Remember!
Astral energy!
Say no more! That astral energy was incredible!
I gave it everything I had.
Explosive ring!
Now!
My turn! Strike!
This one's mine!
No further! Take it! No escape!
Why'd you kill me?
To stop you dying?
Right.
Dragon Swarm! Heal! Now let loose! No escape! Try to go for you!
It's about to strike!
Look sharp, everyone!
Here I go!
Try harder! Now! Here I come!
Here I go! Dance in the wind! Air thrust!
On your knees!
Light acid! Blah, 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 magic!
Burn!
Holy land!
The enemy will want too!
You'll soon see about that! Astral energy!
Say no more!
That astral energy was incredible.
I gave it everything I had!
A dead end, huh?
Why don't we just use this?
Wait!
Jeez! Don't scare me like that! What, is there something wrong with it?
No, it's not that. It's just... this is it. Whatever it is, we're about to find out.
It's the moment of truth. There's no turning back now till we've won. Either we get through this, or we vanish along with the rest of the world as we know it. Is everyone ready?
We've come this far. I'm not about to turn tail now. I say we knock this thing out and head back home.
It's time to relegate the past to where it belongs. It's been a long journey getting here, but it ends now.
No, this isn't the end. Once we've overthrown the old order, there's still the task of creating a new world.
A world without divisions, where no one cares whether you're Danon or Renan, or if you have magic or not. You're right. We have to win this.
Let's get going then. After all, our future awaits.
Our future. One free of tyranny and exploitation. For the freedom to live with those we hold dear. And for a new era. Let's go! Are we on that giant flower?
We're finally here then.
But then, where is the core of the Great Spirit? Or the Renaissance, for that matter?
According to Hevrek 35, this should be where we find the core.
Rinwell, do you sense anything?
This is definitely where the energy of the Great Spirit is strongest, but what's giving off the most energy is the flower we're standing on.
That said, we're not gonna be able to destroy something this huge. You want me to hit it and see what happens?
Hey, look!
The Renaissance!
Is that like Dana's astral energy? But why?
What?
Stay sharp! Something's coming!
Once it's gone, it has so much anger. All of its fear has evolved into hatred.
So then, you're saying that this is the Great Spirit's core?
And in order to fight us, it's taken on this form?
My thorns. I feel them whirling inside me. They're getting restless. I'm certain of it. This is the source of my thorns, and of my visions. This is the darkness that will consume all existence.
What do we do now? The Renaissance was inside that thing, and I don't think we'll win this fight without it.
We have to get it back. We will find a way somehow.
Agreed. And now that it has a physical form, cutting through it's what we'll do.
Great Spirit, I understand how to live. You've made that very clear. However, if you're planning on destroying everything, then first, you'll have to get through us. Everyone, let's go!
We're not energy for you to consume, and we're not puppets for you to control!
Only humankind has a right to determine their own future. We will never let something like you take that away from us.
I'm sorry, but we won't let you take any more away from us. We'll do whatever it takes to stop you.
Fight to close the sounds of anguish from our world. That it may be filled with joy and peace once again.
Give it back. Give it all back. Give us back our world and give me back my own life.
Once and for all, we are going to end centuries of terror and death. Right here, right now. Try harder! My turn!
Go blah blah blah.
It's over! Down from the
Blah blah blah.
Swallow try this! Inferno turret! Here I come! I've been hit with something!
So even a masochist has to know what.
Not feeling so great.
Watch yourself.
Not today! You're mine!
Soaring blast!
Strike!
Thunder field! Raging cascade!
Take this!
Everything in armor is all mine!
Double demon fang!
By the power of water! Ready? If it's in the sky, it's mine!
No further!
Steel form!
Here I come!
Armor won't save you! Now!
Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone! I'm going to need to
Here I come! Take this! You're finished! Dragon form! Dragon form!
What the world is this? See about that!
An attack. Is this a Lord's handiwork?
I'm past being surprised.
I say we destroy it, and quick! Dragon form!
Gemini Ultra!
Take this! Not today! Dragon form! Ready flash! Pierce through!
Ready and willing!
Sonic thrust! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Firmament Dagger!
Try hard, my God! Struck! You're finished!
They're not playing around! I'm going to use all the power of my healing arts to accomplish this.
Let me free you!
Resurrection!
Dragon form!
Lightning Origin! I never miss! Dance in the wind! Close one!
You're mine! It's over!
I'm all out of
Dragon form!
Annihilation! In here! Now!
Chill!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
After all that, it's still standing. Just how strong is this thing?
Doesn't matter. Just have to keep kicking its ass until it bites the dust.
The Great Spirits!
Damn. Must have been conserving its energy for an escape.
That bastard took off with the Renaissance!
We can't stand here and wait for it to come back. We'll have to follow it through there.
You're right. I don't like it, but we've got no choice.
Yeah. No matter what, we can't let it get away.
All right. Let's go.
I'm surprised we can stand here at all. What in the hell is this place?
Beats me. I've never seen anything like it. More importantly, where's the Great Spirit?
Look! Over there!
What in the world? It's changing shape?
Oh, this is bad. It looks like it's regaining all of its energy. It's going to grow even bigger than before.
Damn it. Come on. We've got to find a way to...
Watch out! Something's heading our way!
Guess they're here to try to stop us. There's so many of them.
That means we've got it running scared. Let's take these out and keep moving!
Get out of our way already!
I didn't expect such base tactics from a supreme being.
You can't assume we're fighting something that thinks like a human!
Whatever it is, it's wasting time that we don't have.
Yeah, Not only that, but that thing is getting bigger by the minute.
It's starting to slow down the more it grows. We should be able to catch up soon enough.
We just need to hold on. Stay strong, everyone, and stand your ground.
A charge like that can easily be fatal.
Just as well, I'm here to stop it.
Take this! Through it, skate!
I'll be saving this one.
Burn!
This one's mine.
In a bind?
Pierce through!
I'm on it.
Dragon Swarm!
Radiant Slice.
Thanks! Take this! Pierce through!
Here, I can help.
I owe you one.
Lunar corruption.
Blow away!
I'll be saving this one.
Take this! Through it, skate! Any more, that was enough for now.
Incantation ruin.
More! Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade!
I'll heal you all.
Now! Take this!
Heal
Through it,
force.
skate!
Healing up.
Try this!
They smite with
Infernal Turret!
By the power of water.
There! I'm not done! You're finished!
Lightning orb. Illuminate the blah blah blah.
Ignite!
Holy
I'm not
Landstorm.
done! It's over!
Ice tornado.
Dragon Swarm!
Now,
River!
astral energy.
Say no more!
Brace yourselves! We're going to crash!
We caught up to it!
Hold on. Why did it stop absorbing the energy from Dana?
Like it or not, it lacks the means to do so whilst fighting us. We've become the bigger threat and forced its hand.
All right, then. Let's get to work so we can take back the Renaissance.
This madness ends right here, right now. And this time, we really mean it.
We've all come so far. We've faced so much. We can't get through this. Together.
Naturally, we are all leaving this fight alive.
Hell, I'm just getting warmed up. You ain't seen nothing yet.
The Great Spirit's getting desperate. But stay... Your toes, everyone.
No art of being interrupted. Benediction
Its
light.
power's overwhelming.
Then let's whittle down that thing's power. Go!
Right. Let's start with the arms.
Let's do this, Law.
Leave it to me.
Everyone, I'm counting on you.
I owe you one.
Another incantation ruined. On your
Here,
knees.
let me help.
Eater!
First aid. This way.
You're mine! Try harder!
Gemini
I'm not
Ultra. Oh, violent
You're mine!
Don't leave me!
Dragon form! Here I come! Dragon form!
Dance in the wind!
Flame inside me yearns to be let free!
Photon blast! Searing blast!
In a bind?
I'm ready!
Oh no,
Will this
go!
help? Not on my watch! Let the mark
Denied! Everlasting darkness!
I never miss! Thunder Beam!
You're mine! Dragon form!
Everyone okay?
Still alive somehow, if that's what you mean.
Here, let me heal you.
Anything in armor is all mine.
An astral arch?
That's my cue.
Shut him down!
Carve through armor.
Lunar corruption.
Dragon form!
Gemini Aqua.
Dragon form! Try harder! My turn!
I'm going to need to use all.
It's too much!
Bloody
Dragon form!
I can't heal you forever.
See ya!
This is it.
This ends now!
Alphen.